it appears that some Florida voters are not thrilled with the job that Governor Ron DeSantis is doing when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic. Now, in fact, according to the Daily Beast, the state keeps setting daily records for new cases after DeSantis reopened the economy, and the new outbreak has cut into his approval rating and even makes Donald Trump vulnerable, potentially, in November's reelection. So now, this is according to some people that the Daily Beast talked to. One of them was Democratic political consultant Jeff Garcia. So now he said this, quote, "If you look around the country, most governors, regardless of party, saw their numbers rise." I mean, look, it makes sense. It really depends on, of course, how you've handled the coronavirus pandemic. If you were out there doing the right things and attending to the needs of the people and doing the best that you can, then yeah, it's going to make sense that your numbers are going to rise. However, DeSantis, well, his approval rating did not do so well. It actually dropped 7 points from 58 to 51% in April, while many other governors were seeing a rise in their numbers. Now, Garcia says, quote, "DeSantis is in a rare category. He is not overwhelmingly disliked, but he has seen a precipitous drop in his approval rating." Now, why is that? Well, it's because Florida is, right now, a disaster. Recently, Florida has been seeing over 5,000 plus new COVID-19 cases daily. In fact, it's been reported just today that Florida has seen nearly 9,000 new cases. It's almost over 9,000. Pretty soon, it's going to be over 9,000. That's a complete and utter disaster. Despite, of course, DeSantis and his administration trying to hide the coronavirus death numbers from the public and make this information not as easily accessible or available, right? And so not only that, but you have Florida's unemployment system, which is a mess. It's a complete disaster. Now, it wasn't set up by Ron DeSantis, but it was set up by Rick Scott and Florida Republicans who made that system as broken and as unnavigable as possible to try to make it so that, of course, people could not get unemployment. Of course, that's to be fair, Florida's not the only state that has seen difficulties with the system. For example, here in Michigan, we have Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and it's still incredibly difficult for you to get an unemployment claim and to get it approved. So, and that's, of course, happening all over the country as just the sheer amount of people that are filing unemployment claims is too much for any of these systems to handle. So, that's it. All right. A lot of this is making Ron DeSantis think about his approach a little bit. For example, DeSantis said this week, quote, "We are where we are. I didn't say we're going to go to the next phase." And that, of course, refers to the next phase of reopening. These coronavirus spikes have got him to stop basically trying to reopen things. They're taking a little bit of pause. And not only are they doing that, of course, in Florida, but they're also doing that in Texas. Texas is also pausing their reopening because they're seeing certain spikes. And so if Florida becomes a new pandemic hotspot, which is what it's looking like, right? Then, well, voters are going to be really happy or really unhappy. In fact, that's already begun. The Daily Beast spoke to one voter here. This is Miami voter Rod Deal. So let's be fair about Rod Deal. He wasn't exactly a DeSantis fan, right, to begin with. However, he said, quote, I thought he was making strides in solar power energy and increasing teacher salaries. So, well, look, those are two things, of course, to be happy about, right? I like solar power. I got solar panels on my house. I like increasing teacher salaries, and that's what Ron DeSantis did. And so this person who admittedly went for Andrew Gillum 2 years ago says, look, you know what? Ron DeSantis actually not doing too bad of a job. Quote, I thought he was putting the people's needs first. From what I saw, I thought I will vote for him next time. So you had a Gillum voter going over and thinking, you know what, Ron DeSantis, He's doing a good job. I like him. I like some of the things he's done. So, yeah, I'll vote for him. However, unfortunately, because of COVID-19, that has changed. Because now he says this, quote, "It was only in the last 3 months that I started wondering, what in the hell is up with this dude? Opening up the entire state with the COVID numbers going up was horrible." And look, we've not even seen the worst, because this not only spreads very easily, but once it does, it spreads exponentially. And so now Florida, look, Florida, again, 9,000 cases in one day. What a disaster. So now Florida has immediately taken action. This is breaking as well. Just earlier today, they responded by suspending alcohol sales at bars. Now you might think, wait a minute, how would that help the coronavirus numbers? Well, it's kind of a stealthy way of shutting down the bars without actually shutting down the bars. It is kind of brilliant in a way, because look, Ron DeSantis wants to say, hey, I didn't shut down the economy again. No. I believe that the economy should continue, humming along. I'm just going to go and suspend alcohol sales for a short time. And the result of that, of course, would be people not wanting to go to the bars. I mean, why would you go to a bar if there's no alcohol? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I guess some people do, right? I don't really know who, but I guess some people would. But most people go to a bar to drink and to have fun and to dance and all that stuff. And so it's not quite the same if the bar is not serving drinks. So it's a kind of a weird, stealthy Republican move. Like, oh, no, I didn't close down the bars. The bars are still open. So I didn't close down any businesses. You can't serve any alcohol. And then, of course, it's going to reduce the numbers of people going out to the bars, which will also help reduce the spread of the coronavirus in these establishments. So, I mean, again, I guess it's a way to skirt around the issue while also addressing part of the problem. But the other part, of course, is that really what he should be doing is at least doing mandatory masks. And, that is one thing that he's not willing to do as governor. Now, there are places in Florida, counties in Florida, that have voted on mandatory masks. Palm Beach County, for example, just recently voted to require mandatory masks in most public places. And so that's a good step. Ron DeSantis is not willing to do that, not quite yet at least. But we'll see if the coronavirus numbers continue to get worse, what he actually does. And so I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, because I think we're only seeing the first part of these new spikes, because it's going to take a couple of weeks of lag time, because of the incubation period, the 2-week period. And of course, it really also relies on how, people will listen, how well they'll listen to social distancing and, wearing masks. And what we've seen in Florida, of course, unfortunately, is that there are groups of people that do not believe at all in wearing masks and still will refuse to do so, even as the numbers continue to spiral out of control. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.